Yeah, so we have so many stories to share, of course. I'll share one that's top of mind for me about a student who came into our program in her sophomore year. She had a 1.8 GPA.
Hmm.
And, she was like, I really want to do this. And we don't have a GPA requirement to get in, but we have a GPA requirement that you have to maintain to stay in
Sure.
the program.
Hmm.
And so, she's like, I really want to do this. And I've always wanted to travel abroad. I'm like, okay. So she accepted in. She came to everything. She showed up. She worked hard. And so we have like a 4.0 club. So if you earn a 4.0, you earn some extra money towards your trip. We have like different incentives like that along the way. And so she got a 4.0 that semester, continued to maintain a 3.8 or higher for the rest of her high school career. She got a college scholarship. She went off to
All right, everyone. We are super excited to have Sylvester Chisholm and Samantha Lurie Carroll on the My K-12 Career Show to share their story, their journey with our viewers and our listeners. They have a phenomenal project. It's called Show Me the World. I know that, just full disclosure, I used to work with Samantha many moons ago, and it was actually called Show Me Costa Rica. Never got a chance to go on one of those trips, but to see how much has grown just since then, just to show you how old it is. That was when St. Louis had an NFL team, okay? And since that time, they moved to Los Angeles, won a Super Bowl and the whole 9 yards. So that shows you how old the program is, but it's just grown by leaps and bounds. And I reached out to Samantha, and she graciously accepted the invite to come on the show with her co-founder, Sylvester. And so I'm just very grateful to you guys. So, Sylvester and Samantha, what's going on in your life and in your K-12 career right now? Tell us what's up.
Well, first of all, Dr. Williams, thank you so much for having us on this show. Definitely so proud of the work that you're doing and the way you're amplifying voices really across the world in K-12 education. So it's an honor for us to be here.
Thank you.
We are super excited about our nonprofit organization called Show Me the World Project, and we are learning and growing every day. So just excited to dive in more today and share more information with you about the innovative work that we're doing.
Awesome. So, Sylvester, how
Absolutely.
did you and Samantha connect to, co-found this organization, this project together?
Definitely. Thank you for having us on the show. I'm a personal fan of the show and believe all educators should be listening to it. It's a great space where ideas are being shared. So I received an email 2014 about an organization that is taking students from Vashon High School to Costa Rica. And I'm like, wow. And they're having a fundraiser for a car wash in St. Louis. And someone was asking me, would we be willing to donate and support? So one of my businesses in St. Louis, I owned a car wash business at the time. And so I'm like, okay, absolutely. How can I support? Not only that, on my dad's side, I have 14 aunts and uncles that all went to Vashon High School. My oldest aunt graduated with Maxine Waters back in 1955. Now, on the other side of my family, I have a cousin who did a study abroad in Costa Rica. He loved it so much, he stayed there for 3 years and brought back a kid and a wife. So I have a little cousin who's half Costa Rican and half St. Louis, right?
Wow.
And so when I heard about what the work Samantha was doing with the students, I'm like, how can I get involved? How can I support? And it's really been one of the greatest things that I've had the opportunity to participate in, to see the transformation and help and support youth from these under-resourced communities with the skills that they need to be successful during high school and outside of high school once they move on to their post-secondary endeavors.
Wow. So 2014. So that gives us a timeline right there. So it's been 10 years since
Yes.
oh, wow. That's really cool. So you got involved, you donated. I mean, the connections are there. Like, how did you guys actually get in business and, co-found the Show Me the World project?
Yeah, so obviously Sylvester expressed interest and he had this background. And, I was an educator who accompanied my students on a school swap where we went to one of the most affluent high schools in Missouri, in St. Louis for sure. And the students shadowed the other students and really got to discuss education equity. And so they were appalled by the number of educational opportunities they had compared to their own educational experience. And so one of the pieces that they saw there, one of the pieces of information was an advertisement that says, educational international trip, sign up here. And so our students were just appalled. They're like, this is like a dream for us. They get the chance to do that. How come we don't get that opportunity? And so, they really advocated. And I was like, woo, Dr. Williams, Vashon has a very long, rich history. And this was like, we had just passed the 90th year at Vashon High School. And this would be the first international travel experience at Vashon in school history, and the students were really advocating. And so we're like, you know what? I have no idea how we'll make this happen, but we shall try. And so it was great in year 2 when we met Sylvester. We have a third co-founder, Dr. Boima Aduapong, who really helps lead our science curriculum, our STEM curriculum, which we'll talk about today as well. But really, when Sylvester showed deep interest, I said, hey, Sylvester, like you said, Dr. Williams, we've been working these concession stands at the Rams games, the Cardinals games, restaurant nights, like everything you can think of. Like, we really need some sustainability. And so if you could also help and bring your like amazing entrepreneurial angle on this trip with us and really help us define like, how could this become a social entrepreneurship endeavor, and so Sylvester was super key with that and came in, and it's just so funny on the trip because he's like, let's try these strawberries, or let's everywhere we went, like you could just see his business mind churning. And so I think that's the beautiful thing between us 3 co-founders. We're an educator, an entrepreneur, and a scientist who came together to really, honestly, so many community members help build this up, and we're just here to amplify the vision that the collective community stated and has worked on for years. And so that's really how we got into business together. And I can let Sylvester share, one of the turnkey moments. I know he's over there like, yeah, I'm ready.
Is it okay if I tell a quick story,
Sure.
Dr. Williams? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Samantha's correct. So, right, we started school project 2012. 2019, it officially became a nonprofit, Show Me the World project.
Okay.
And part of that was to reflect the fact that, yes, it was Costa Rica, but we've also traveled to Nicaragua. Wow. We've also traveled to Panama City. The kids actually on the ground floor of the Panama Canal and seeing that commerce coming through firsthand. Also, we have students going to Ecuador, and so we're expanding the reach there. But the entrepreneurship part, I got to share this story. So, we also run a coffee business out of it. So we use coffee as a tool to increase those educational outcomes. So the kids are involved now in the branding, packaging, marketing, roasting. They're learning communication skills, selling at farmers markets, all of that stuff. That's what's happening today. But the origin story, we're in Costa Rica on the science tip. We had just visited a coffee farm, a working coffee farm, and we learned some of the best coffee in the world comes from Costa Rica. Why? On the science side, because of the high elevation and the volcanic soil. Who knew? Right. So
Mm.
our kids, we just learned this. So then we're leaving there, and Samantha says, we have to go to a grocery store. We have to go to a grocery store. And we're myself and some of the other advisors, we're like, okay, maybe just to get a cultural experience to see Costa Rican grocery store versus a St. Louis one. We
Go grab
find
all the snacks.
Samantha.
You know, you have to have all the go try all the new snacks over there.
We we find Samantha in the coffee aisle, loaded down with like a suitcase full of coffee. And we're like, what are you doing? And she told myself, and there were about 3 or 4 other students standing around, I'm buying this coffee to take back to our donors, people that supported us getting here, as, hey, I will support as long as you bring me back a bag of that Costa Rican coffee. So
Wow.
it was like a light bulb moment that I had simultaneously with 3 or 4 other students. We all looked at each other and were like, what if we figure out how to make this part of the program? And then instead of us just coming maybe with a handout, we can now come with a product that we're
Mhm.
offering to sell, and we can use it as a learning experience, because we had just learned about social entrepreneurship and seeing the coffee farm. So from there, it's been quite the experience of adding it to the program, to where we have all these different varieties now, from Colombia to
Okay.
Nicaragua to Peru, Costa Rican, and our coffee's also now on grocery store shelves across the Fresh Time grocery stores, which is part of the Meyer network, and other grocery stores as well. And you can buy it online, and the kids are
Wow.
involved in the entire process. So that's what we love the most, that it's the learning that takes place, that is so experiential. It's
Mm.
connecting the science with the entrepreneurship. So when you think interdisciplinary, there's no better experience in my view.
That's awesome. Yeah, and we'll definitely make sure that we have all of that information so that whoever's watching this show, they can order the coffee as well. So I want to definitely make sure that we have those links from you guys about. And look, I'm married to a Colombian woman, so we drink plenty of coffee in this house. So we definitely gonna order some ourselves as well. So yeah, that's really cool. I was listening to all the different places that you've taken students so far. Do y'all plan on going outside of, the North American, South American, hemisphere? Do y'all plan on going to maybe Africa and places like that?
Absolutely. So when just a quick backstory with Show Me Costa Rica, in that first year, when we decided to put our best foot forward, we decided to go to Costa Rica because I was teaching biology at the time. And so we were able to align all the Missouri state standards with the curriculum, because if you don't know, Costa Rica is just a gem for biodiversity. And
Yeah,
so it is just literally like a walking science class, right?
yeah.
Walking biology class. And so honestly, that's why we started off with Costa Rica, to make sure we had that alignment. And it just is an amazing country. So the students, the reason why we're called Show Me the World is because Missouri is the show me state. So the students named us Show Me Costa Rica. And they say, yeah, because we're going to Costa Rica. Show me Costa Rica, Missouri, the show me state. So we wanted, when we turned into an official nonprofit, we explored some other names and whatnot, but we said, like, we want to keep with the similar name, but we want to put the world, because that's where we're headed. We're headed all over the world. There is no
Awesome.
limit for us.
Yes, yes.
And so that is definitely our plan as we're building out more programs to different countries.
I
We
love that.
definitely
I love that. Yeah,
to
when
go
I
to
left
Africa and other.
when I left St. Louis, I actually took a position as a principal in the Middle East. And yeah, I worked in Kuwait, and they
Mm.
say a mind expanded can never return to its original form. And,
Yeah.
just the opportunity to go and, work in another country, live in another country. And then you're right in the middle of things. If you live in the Middle East, like, you're 6 hours from pretty much the world, except for, over on the Western hemisphere. But I mean, you're 6 hours from Europe, you're 6 hours from Asia, you're 6 hours from Africa. And, we had an opportunity to visit, 12 countries in a little over 2 years. So yeah, it's an amazing space over there. So I can't recommend enough, taking students to that part of the world as well, because I mean, matter of fact, in the last 6 months, I've been to India, and Thailand. I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and just amazing places, amazing spaces, amazing people. And the one thing that I found in all the different places that I've been is that nothing really changes but the faces and the places, right? Like, I mean, if you're dealing with parents, they want the best for their kids, whether they live in St. Louis, Missouri, or, Timbuktu, Africa, right? It doesn't matter. Like, they want what's best for their children. They want a good education for their children. They want a good life for their children. And so, yeah, I think the opportunity to take, these young people all over the world is just amazing. So, you guys mentioned the coffee, and I mean, how is it doing? Is it making good money? Do we need to get it up here? Seattle's considered practically the coffee capital of the world, was Starbucks starting here. So, they love their coffee here in Seattle. I mean, yeah, we need to get you on the shelves up here as well.
Listen, absolutely. We would
Love that.
love an opportunity like that. Yeah, it's growing really fast. And I'll tell you where we're having a lot of unique success with it is as a fundraiser product for schools that are traveling internationally.
Okay.
So like for schools that want to elevate the learning experience connected to a trip, even for those who are taking students to Colombia, to Peru, to Costa Rica, to these different places or beyond, we're setting up like these separate web pages where the students are learning about the country and a product that actually comes from the country, as well as fundraising. So that's been really exciting for us we didn't think about that from the beginning, but to see the impact that it can have on still supporting our youth and our primary programming, but then also supporting youth across the country with these fundraising activities. So that's been really exciting to see in that way.
I can imagine that a lot of these young people have truly been impacted by these trips. Like, what are some of the success stories of the students that have gone to Costa Rica and, have been a part of this project and been a part of this program in terms of what they ended up doing with their life after they left a school like Vashon?
Yeah, so we have so many stories to share, of course. I'll share one that's top of mind for me about a student who came into our program in her sophomore year. She had a 1.8 GPA. And, she was like, I really want to do this. And we don't have a GPA requirement to get in, but we have a GPA requirement that you have to maintain to stay in the program. And so, she's like, I really want to do this. I've always wanted to travel abroad. I'm like, okay. So she accepted in. She came to everything. She showed up. She worked hard. And so we have like a 4.0 club. So if you earn a 4.0, you earn some extra money towards your trip. We have like different incentives like that along the way. And so she got a 4.0 that semester, continued to maintain a 3.8 or higher for the rest of her high school career. She got a college scholarship. She went off to college after traveling with us, where she got her first passport and went to Costa Rica. She said, this is not the last time that I'm using this passport. And so when she went off to college, she studied abroad and went to Senegal in Africa for a study abroad program, came back, became a first generation college graduate. And now she works for Morgan Stanley. And she literally told us, after she first salary job, she graduated in the middle of the pandemic. So she had to persevere through a lot, obviously, just not even being able to have a college graduation traditionally. And when she ended up interviewing for the job at Morgan Stanley, she said, you know what, Miss Lurie, 70% of the questions they asked me were about my study abroad and international travel experience. So just thank you to everyone who supported me on this journey, because literally I was so prepared to secure this job because of that. And so I think that just really highlights how important of an opportunity this is for our students. It helps them dream bigger. It helps them push the limits higher, show that there is there, break the glass ceiling. There are no limits there. And so it's very encouraging for us as we're studying the impact to see the impact on college and career readiness, because that wasn't always the initial idea. It was like, yeah, we want to provide access to go on this awesome trip that we know will change your life, but to be able to see the direct correlation from high school to college and career readiness has just been super inspirational. So I could go on and on for days, but that's one that's just top of mind for me right now.
No, that's
Yeah.
so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like you guys are breaking generational curses. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And
that's I
that's
was
what
gonna
most of our students will say is like, I'm the first one in my family to have a passport. I'm the first in my family to travel internationally. I'm the first in my family to get on a plane. So, and the beautiful thing is their family is there, obviously supporting them along the way. So it is just amazing to see. And we've had several, students who their siblings have come, a couple of years later. So then you look at, honestly, we had a mom who basically all of her kids, she had never traveled internationally before, but all her kids had. And so that's just a new generational,
that's
new
awesome.
generational perspective. So,
but I think it's transformative for the entire family and the community because we know someone who has done something that we didn't think was possible. So now we've seen it that my cousin, my brother, my son, my daughter has gone through this program and look how they have transformed. Look at the leader that they are now. Like attendance is up. Like they're coming to school on time, excited about being there. They're raising their hand. The leadership level for our students when they come back to the classroom, because we like to try to do this in that 9, 10th grade year so that they can come back and really be those standout leaders in the community and set a good example for other students. They're raising their hand for a student body president, for other extracurricular opportunities. So it really makes a difference when they see that, like, wow, I can persist and stick with something, and that delayed gratification is really worth it. So I know how to set a goal and work hard toward and achieving it. And I've proven that to myself. I think that's a powerful unlock.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, y'all brought up another point that I didn't even think about. Like, I mean, how many people in the Black and brown communities not only don't have a passport, but they've never seen a passport. Like, there's nobody in their family that has a passport, right? And so, when you're taking these young people outside of the country, I mean, they have to have a passport. And it's just like the young lady that you referenced, Samantha, like she said, hey, this isn't the last time I'm using my passport, and she's gone to Africa, So that's really powerful. They were saying, I forget, I know I'm going to fudge the numbers a little bit, but they were saying that in most inner city communities, the average young person doesn't go outside of a 5 to 10 square mile radius of the place that they live, and that's in their own city. So they've never been to the suburbs. They've never, it's like, and so when you think about the fact that not only are you guys taking them out of the city, like you said, they're getting on the airplane for the first time. They have a passport. They're the first in their family to ever travel, and not, and they're paying it forward. So, they do it, and then their sibling comes behind them and does it 2-3 years later. Like, this is super powerful what you guys are doing. Y'all are making a tremendous impact. So what, let's say hypothetically, it is 2024. And it's amazing how time flies, because you said it started in 2012, it was incorporated in 2019, and here we are 5 years after that. It's 2024. Like, where is Show Me the World in 2029, 5 years from now? What's the vision?
Yes, 2029, we are serving 10,000 students across America. And we are implementing our programs. We are partnering with different schools and school districts. And we are really being an anchor in with communities to help uplift the voices of students who normally don't get these opportunities, and really being a key anchor in helping them see the world and expose them to different, college and career paths through this experience.
Love it.
Absolutely.
10,000.
No, I'm just doubling down on what Samantha said. I see Show Me the World chapters in Seattle, in Baltimore, in DC, in Atlanta, in Sacramento, in San Francisco. So like I really see it. There's so many similar communities that are struggling with some of the same problems where kids are running around and being exposed on a daily basis to a lot of trauma, to a lot of violence, to a lot of small thinking, to expand their worldview, to show them a different perspective, to show them how to persist toward a goal, to show them this, to teach them the skills that our workforce is looking for so they can find post-secondary success. And man, I think it's only a matter of time. So we're gonna speak that into existence. We're gonna look back on this in 2029 and say,
There you
where
go.
are we?
Love it.
That's right.
I really like what I'm hearing. I definitely want to be a part of what you guys are doing. I feel like the same way. I mean, you brought up a really good point, Sylvester. I mean, you change the name of the city and it's the same issues, right? I mean, we're talking about St. Louis and Atlanta, but we could easily be talking about Washington, D.C. and L.A. Or Miami or Charlotte, North Carolina. There's just so many areas that need this program. I mean, this is a need. And that's what I'm hearing. Like, I've been in education since 1994. This is year number 30 for me. Black don't crack, but yeah, it's hard to believe. I'll be 56 years of age in August, and I've been doing this since 1994. And I'm just really, it bothers me that some of the same issues that I was dealing with in 1994. Now, bear in mind, the average high schooler, because I was a high school teacher and coach, the average high school student that I was dealing with in 1994 is almost 50 themselves. You know what I mean? I wasn't much older than them myself. You know what I mean? And so when you think about it from that standpoint and the fact that some of the same issues that were going on in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I started my teaching career, are some of the same issues that are going on 30 years later, that's troubling to me. And so when I hear about a program like this and see how much it's grown from what it used to be, back in, 2013, 2014, my heart overflows because this is what we need. Like, I mean, obviously we're going to always have, schools set up to teach our kids the basics and whatnot. But I mean, we have to expand their worldview. If the only thing that they see is, like you said, Sylvester, the trauma and all the other stuff that they're seeing in their community, and they don't see something else, like even when you take them to Costa Rica, they're coming back to that community. But like I said, a mind expanded cannot return to its original form. So at the end of the day, now they've seen better, they got to do better, right? And now they see more, they got to do more. And so to me, it's super important to get these kids out of this bubble that they're living in, and letting them see that there is a big world out here, and that there is possibilities that are unlimited, and the sky is not the limit. The sky is the beginning of what they can do, have, become. And so, I'm really, really excited about what you guys are doing. And I'm like you, Sylvester. I see chapters in every major city in the United States and the world. Yes. Let's just call it what it is. Yes. See it in London, Paris, all the rest of the cities in the world as well. Why not? Right? Because I think it's super important. There was an old joke that they used to say when I was in the Middle East. They said, what do you call a person that only speaks one language?
American.
American.
Okay.
We both said it.
We don't get exposed. We don't get exposed to what's out there. And we think that, do you know that you could eliminate America? There's only 300 million people in America, but there's 7 point however billion people in the world. You could literally eliminate all of America and you still got over 7 billion people in this world. And most of them are black and brown. So what I'm saying is like, we need to expose our young people to all the opportunities. I have so many young people, like there's a huge African population here in Seattle, and you would be shocked at how many of these young people feel almost ashamed because of another language that they know. They might know Somali, or they might know another language. And a lot of these students not only know the official language of their country, but they also have a dialect that they know. So a lot of these kids come into the school knowing 3 languages already. One of the things I told my wife, I said, I don't want you, she's from Colombia. And I told her, I said, I don't want you to ever whitewash, coming here to America, because a lot of times, and you see it a lot in the Mexican community in particular, because what they did is they did not require their young people to learn Spanish, which is an absolute gift. Like when somebody learns another language, it's an absolute gift. And the only thing you have to do, you don't sit down with a book with them. You don't teach them how to read it. You don't teach them how to write it. You just speak to them in another language. And our kids will learn it. Our kids do not lack capacity, right?
Yeah.
They will learn anything that we take the time to teach them. And like even my own kids, I have a 10-year-old daughter. I have a 13-year-old son. They are totally fluent. They are biliterate, not bilingual. They're biliterate. They speak English, they speak English too, but they speak Spanish, they read Spanish, and they write Spanish, right? Because I wanted them because I feel like education gives our young people opportunities, and I think, and I just kind of I was like, okay, my son and daughter, 15 years from now, if college expenses are so expensive now, what are they going to be 10, 15 years from now when they graduate from high school and have to go to college themselves? And I'm a senior citizen trying to pay for this, right? I was like, you know what? I want them to be biliterate. So if they choose to become a doctor, they can go right down there to Columbia, get it for cheap, become a doctor, and do their residency back in the United States, right? And save a boatload of money and not be $300,000 in student loan debt, right? And so again, that's the opportunity that you give kids. Huh?
More options. It creates more options.
That's it.
And when you have more options, that's freedom, right? Like the freedom to choose.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm sorry I got on that soapbox. I'm sorry.
No, that was
perfect. Go ahead, Sylvester.
I was just going to second that. I think it was necessary to see, and hats off to you for being a parent that gets it and understands the power of a global education.
Yeah.
And you think about, you gave such specific examples there, and you've traveled outside, and you see, like, that's how I felt the first time. Like when I traveled to Senegal, I studied abroad there. That was my first international travel experience. And I was like, people know 3 to 5 languages. I'm so dumb, And so then you look at how people are feeling here in America, like, I don't want to, speak my other language or whatnot. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, that's so cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I think that is like a prime example of what happens when we travel, when youth get to travel and see, outside of their normal 5, 6, 10 blocks, that they see on a daily basis. Is just that exposure really expands your mind. And, you mentioned something about when they come back, right? So when they come back home, they're different.
Yes.
Point blank period. They're different. And so I think what's so unique about what the students have shared is because we're doing this in a cohort model, right? We are not just signing up for a trip and traveling over there, but we're actually working together for a year, 18 months, to really learn together, go through all the programming, earning the money, right? And then they travel over there. And so the experience is so much more in depth. And when they come back, they have other classmates that they can talk to about this, because nobody else can understand their perspective except those students, that they've traveled with, or, alums of the program or whatnot that they're asking questions of. So I just think you shared such a powerful example, even for you in your own journey and what you value. And now, you're seeing how that shows up for your family and your kids. So
Well,
with
I will
that
tell you,
example.
we have, anywhere from 10 to 15,000 people that are going to watch this show for sure. And hopefully even more. I hope it just goes viral. But, I know there's going to be a lot of parents out there that are just like me. So I'm like sitting here and my wheels are spinning. It's like my son is going to be a ninth grader next year. How do I get him on the next plane with you guys for the Show Me the World project to Costa Rica, even though he's in Seattle? Like, how does that work? Because I'm willing to pay for him to go because he needs this.
Yes, so we can, so right, so we can drop our contact information and you should reach out to us about that. We are currently partnering with schools and school districts.
Okay.
So it would be great for them to connect us with their school leader,
Okay.
and we could talk about bringing the program to their school or school district.
Sounds good. We're gonna make it happen. I'm dead serious. 100%. Because now you're talking about not only an invested educator, but an invested parent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that matters.
It
Yes.
does. It does. And Dr. Williams, it's, like we shared our big goals, and really our mission is, to provide access and to bring equity to international travel experiences that are very transformative, but not just the international travel experience, but also transformative experiences at home.
Sure.
And so the year-long curriculum, from when we get the feedback from the students, is just as impactful as going on the trip.
Wow.
And so there's just been so many different amazing, angles there in terms of that leadership development worldview. So we're just super excited about that. But like you said, like the coffee, I think you made a great mention. Coffee is everywhere, right? It's something that people drink every day. And so just a simple replacement of Show Me the World coffee, right? We've had different coffee shops, or in the grocery stores or whatnot, and different partners there. We're seeing how that provides equity to these experiences just simply by drinking Show Me the World coffee. And so it's kind of become a great equalizer for us in our program and providing these experiences. So we're super excited about that model, and that's one of the reasons why we are super confident that that we can reach more students, because we have a unique funding arm with that as well.
I love that. I love that. Do y'all have an actual sample close by where we could maybe see a package of it?
Give me a second.
Yeah, 100. I'd love to see it. That's really cool. This is just so awesome. I mean, Sylvester mentioned that y'all try to take 9th and 10th graders on the trips. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's very, very interesting. Right now, we usually start with 9th or 10th graders, so they could be in the 10th or 11th grade. Generally, they're in 10th or 11th grade when they are traveling. So specifically right now, we're partnering with a school district where we have selected 20 students in the 9th grade, and then they'll travel during spring break of their 10th grade year. So just the growth and the camaraderie and just, the way that they'll work with each other as leaders of that class, by the time, you can just imagine, like, how will this group of students be by the time they're seniors? So we have a lot of different cohorts running, but we're super excited to see how that one turns out as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. So here we go, Dr. Williams. This is actually our Nicaraguan roast here. It's a medium roast. And you can see on the packaging, these are actually students on the back here experiencing those international journeys. Then you can see the website there, showmetheworldproject.org. Then on the other side, that the proceeds support our youth. But it's the packaging, so it stands nice on on the shelf, or that sort of thing. And
how much is a package like that? Like, how much is that?
$16. Yep, $16.
That's very reasonable.
Yes, it is.
Very
especially for Seattle. We we roast weekly, all the coffee single origin. So not only is it supporting a good cause, but it's all single origin, fair trade, grown using organic practices. So if you really get into your coffee, this is a good space to do that. We have from Costa Rican light roast up to a medium Ethiopia, Nicaraguan, Colombia, And then our dark roast, Honduras and Peru are also fan favorites as well.
Oh, well, you know, I got to get some of that
And
Colombian for sure.
But I was going to say, but we'll be sure to send you this one.
yes, the
Love it.
Colombia.
Love it. Yeah. Anna Rosa will
Yeah.
love that. 100%.
Yes.
Matter of fact, you can just go ahead and sign me up for 5 of them. I want to get 5 of them. Because, you know,
Got you.
my wife
Thank
loves
you.
coffee. There's not a day she doesn't drink coffee, and a lot of times it's Colombian coffee.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
And
that's really cool.
yeah, we'll definitely send you some because we're just grateful for you and all the great work that you're doing and amplifying our mission.
Absolutely.
I think also what is really cool for so we have a subscription model also. So there are
Okay.
people who, it'll get delivered every month, every 2 weeks. And so that's really cool to see people switching over to subscriptions and they're just getting their
Yeah.
coffee, monthly, bi-weekly. So yes, it's super
Yeah.
exciting. So we
Yeah,
can't
that's the
wait to
thing.
hear how you like it. We'll need a review from you afterwards.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm married to a Colombian wife. It'll be
That's
15 years, and oh my God, it'll be 15 years in June. But I really don't drink coffee that much. But I'm gonna drink. Look, I'm gonna drink some. I
I'm
promise
gonna
you.
try it. Okay.
I'm definitely gonna try it. Yeah, but you know, obviously she does, and of course, you know, my kids do. My son, like I said, he'll be 14 in a couple of weeks, so he drinks coffee as well. But yeah, this is really cool, and I love the subscription model. I think it just makes, you know, the support sustainable. I mean, it's something that just can be ongoing, and yeah, I think you guys are very much on to something. How would a school that wanted to use the Show Me the World project as a fundraiser, how would they go about doing that?
I think the first thing to do is just visit our website, is
Okay.
showmetheworldproject.org, and just send that message in the contact form, and then we'll reach out. Or if
Okay.
you put our email addresses in the show notes or something
Okay.
like that,
Yeah.
they can just send us an email direct. And what will happen, we'll set them up with their own dedicated web page.
Okay.
And then we'll jump on a call with them and their parents and whoever's the school leaders are running that for a short call to show them how it's done, give them the tools, the text messages, the emails to help really push it out to make it successful. And we're running one right now, and it's just every day they're bringing in those funds to support their educational trip. So
how does that work?
yes,
So like you said that the average bag costs around $16. If they're using it as a project, is it like they get $2 or $3, or is there an actual amount, or is it a set amount?
so actual amount 5. Yeah.
5. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
almost 30%.
it has to be, yes, about 30. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 32. But here's the thing. We also try to take the hard work out of it to make it easy and seamless. So all you need to do is send the messages,
Okay.
direct your people to the website,
Okay.
put your student's name in there, and the shipping, the coffee will arrive at whoever purchased it, their doors. And we're tracking it all on the back end.
Mhm.
So we're keeping track of all the orders that are coming for whatever school it was in Seattle or whoever's listening. But then we would send that coffee to the people, and then wherever you tell us to transfer that money, we transfer it to them. So it's probably one of the easiest fundraisers you can do. And then part of the thing what makes coffee so cool, it's the second most drank beverage in the world. So
There you go.
next to water.
No, that's real.
So there's someone everyone knows who drinks coffee.
100%. You're not having to change any type of behavior
No.
to do it because you're already doing it, right?
Yeah.
So you
we
substitute the Folgers for the Show Me the World coffee, right?
yeah.
You will
We
be
like
very
to say,
happy if you do that.
100, right? Yeah, absolutely. No, but you can count us in 100% because, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, what I'm thinking is how you guys are thinking. Like, you know, obviously, I was asking about the school aspect, but also, what about the chapters? Like, what do you envision when you say you want to have a chapter in every city? How does that look? What is the structure of that look? Is that something that just kind of springs out of schools that have chapters, or is it something that is just citywide? How does that look?
Yeah, so it could be one of the two.
Okay.
So what's happening right now is that we are pushing into schools. And so what we've found is that this is also a retention and professional development strategy for educators as well. So we essentially work with a team of educators to train them on our curriculum. We coach them along the way. And so they're really the ones managing students, and then they get to travel on the trip with them. So it is just the growth. I think like we did a survey, and all the teachers that we surveyed said like this was the best opportunity that they've had as a teacher, and that they grew so much from it. So the lead teacher gets a free training tour to go to another country to learn, all the ins and outs first. And then, yeah, they work together as a team, and we're there to support along the way. So that is basically, so it's kind of like the school and Show Me the World partnering to accept a cohort of students, and then going through all of our curriculum with our support and partnerships and whatnot, and then traveling on the trip. So when we take a look at like a citywide, so we do have, what we'll have is like kind of multiple schools that meet together as a cohort. So that's a possibility as well. Obviously, as long as the location is a place where everybody could, has access to for the meeting. So we also
Does the meeting have to be in person? I mean, can you have like a hybrid? Can you have some meetings in person, some meetings on a medium like Zoom? I mean, is that possible as well?
Yeah, we do. I would say our curriculum is very experiential and hands-on.
Okay.
And so we haven't talked that much about the farmers market, but I'd love to explain that to you. But it is very hands-on, but we do some virtual meetings, especially parent meetings, because schedules are busy and whatnot. The fundraisers, like doing some of those evening time meetings. But we have our curriculum implemented in two different ways. In some schools, it's a class so that, the cohort of students can just be in that class period.
Okay.
And just do the fundraisers and whatnot outside of school hours. And then we also have the way that it was originally started as an after school club where students meet once or twice a week after school. And that's when the curriculum is implemented.
Okay. Well, I'm very interested. I would love to start a Show Me the World chapter here in Seattle. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I don't know if, in a perfect world, I'm not going back into the school as a principal. I'm probably going to be at the district level. I'm just being honest. And so, but I would still love to do this. I would still, that allows me truthfully to still have my finger on the pulse of different schools if I'm doing a project like this and it's impacting multiple schools in a district. So, hey, if y'all ready to start a Show Me the World chapter, I'm ready to lead it in Seattle, and let's make it happen. 100%.
Yes, we'll be ready to talk offline for sure.
100%. Yeah. Because
And Dr. Williams, are farmers markets big in Seattle?
oh yes, very much so. Very much so. Farmers markets. I mean, they have. I'll use the area I live in. It's called Northgate, which is north of Seattle, and every Thursday, I believe, because my wife goes to it. Every Thursday they have a farmers market. Like everybody shows up with their produce, and people come out and get the fresh, fruits and whatnot. But they have a lot of fresh fruit stands and vegetable stands all across this city. I mean, they really believe in that, here in Seattle. Seattle's very progressive in that regard, 100%.
I love it. Well, that is one of our key experiences. And so I don't know if you went to Tower Grove Farmers Market when you lived in St. Louis,
Absolutely.
but you can find Show Me the World table out there every Saturday during the season. And so we've built up this farmers market format that can honestly, it's like a coffee pop-up, but it has worked really well at farmers markets. And so students are the ones that are selling, they're giving their pitch. They go, Sylvester educates them so well on, the differences between light, medium, dark roast. And so they really learn the whole farm to cup coffee process. And so they're out there just selling every weekend, earning money for their trip, but just learning key skills, just communication, collaboration, how to work together as a team, how to talk to strangers. And, that is a big thing that they take away when we look at the survey data of just like when I first started, I was really scared and I didn't know how to talk to people that didn't look like me and I
Yes.
don't know well to like now they're selling 50 bags in 3 hours, right? And
Wow.
so it's just incredible to see that growth. And so that's where, like we said, we're very experiential and hands-on, and that is a key part of it of like,
Yeah.
that there are times in life when it's great to get a free trip and somebody pays for your trip, right? But also when you are working and learning different skills and whatnot, the trip feels even better because you know how hard you worked
No,
for
I
it,
agree. I
and
agree.
just learning those skills of how to set a long-term goal and hit those short-term marks is
Love that.
huge. So anyway, that's a key part of our program. Sylvester has just done phenomenal work with building that up. So, and our team back in St. Louis. So yeah, it's ready to hit any city.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like it's turnkey and it can just, as
Mhm.
long as you have people that are willing to run it, shouldn't be a
Right, that
problem.
part. Yeah.
That part.
Yeah, but no, I'm all in. Like I'm dead serious. Like I mean, first of all, I believe in what you're doing. I've always believed in what you were doing from the get-go, Samantha. And
Mm.
also, like I said, I'm a parent too. Like I have a son that will be a high schooler next year. My daughter's right behind him. I want them to have this experience. We truly believe we are world travelers. My kids are, 10 and 13 years, almost 14 years of age, and they've been to a dozen countries already, so they're global citizens anyway. And so the opportunity to, be able to be a part of an amazing project like this, I want that on their resume, 100%.
That's all right.
Love it. Love it.
Well,
Well,
you guys have been amazing. I mean, this definitely won't be the last time you're on here. Another thing I want to do for you guys, and we can talk more about it offline, but I'm sure y'all have plenty of footage, trips and maybe even testimonials from parents and students. And, if y'all willing to get that footage to me, I'm willing to put together a really, really good, well edited promo for you guys because I think that's very much needed as well, especially when you start talking about having different chapters in different cities all over the country. So, yeah, I'm happy to help you guys with that part of it as well because, everything is marketing, right? And so I think that's super important as well. So, yeah, kudos to you guys. And I'm super grateful that y'all came on the show. And this definitely won't be the last time that you guys are going to come on the show, hopefully. But, it's been great. And I'm grateful that you guys have come on the show. But can each one of you individually just kind of share some parting words of wisdom to our community? Tell us how we can connect with you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Sylvester, I'll let you start.
Okay. First off, I want to say thank you for creating the space
Yeah.
to have us on, sharing your platform. It's been a great conversation. Thank you for all the educators and your learning community who are listening. Grateful for you spending the time. And I think if there is someone, I'll go with some inspiration. If there's someone who is listening to this who may be sitting on a big idea, something that they think can transform their local community to give their students a greater experiential learning opportunity, man, I'll say bet on yourself. You see what Samantha has done in bringing the community and people together to create the greater outcomes for our students that they deserve. So I want to at least with some encouragement there and seeing us as an example of what is possible that can come from any community, from small beginnings. And if you really want to give your students a turnkey solution that is experiential, interdisciplinary, place-based learning, global competency, travel, entrepreneurship, STEM, bringing that science to life, then please definitely reach out to us, showmetheworldproject.org, showmetheworldproject.org.
Well said. Thank you.
Yes. And I do want to piggyback off of what Sylvester said, because just in my mind, I'm like, be bold enough to start. Be bold enough to start. We went through a lot during the pandemic, and we're seeing the impacts of that now. And we have to think innovatively. So I'm also speaking to everybody that's involved in K through 12 listening to this podcast, no matter what position you're in, be bold enough to start, be bold enough to pursue that innovative idea that you have. Don't keep it in your head, share it out loud, build a community around it, and you will amaze yourself by what can happen. I would never imagine that 11 years later, after starting this project, that we would be sitting here as a 501c3 on a podcast with Dr. Williams, who used to be the principal at the school when I was a teacher, sharing more about the impact that this has had on hundreds of kids and family members and adults and educators, and definitely myself personally. So I just want to encourage you to be bold enough to start, and we have to continue to be innovative, and you can do it because you are right there seeing the problems in front of you. So be bold enough.
Love it. Well said, well said, well said. We'll definitely get y'all contact information, website information, email information. I also see y'all wearing some phenomenal merch. How do we get that? What's up with that? How do we get that?
It's all on the website. ShowMeTheRoadProject.org.
Okay.
We'll send you some, Dr. Williams, for sure.
All right. I wear a size large. There we go. So yeah.
It looks like your turtleneck kind of matches us too.
It does. Yeah. I like y'all.
Look, low key, Dr. At the beginning of the podcast, I text Samantha. I said, I need that color turtleneck that he has on. I said, it matches. That's our brand colors.
Yeah, it is. I'm seeing that. Yeah, 100%. That shows you. That's serendipity there, right there. And I got shoes that are the same color as well. So that's what's up. Really cool.
Okay. Send the links.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. Nothing just happened. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. So look, guys, I'm super grateful that y'all came on the show. And like I said, I just, this isn't the last time. I want to be a part of this. I'm dead serious when I say this. Like, I want to be a part of this. If y'all don't have any other chapters outside of St. Louis and Atlanta, I would love for Seattle to be the third city that y'all do this in, because I'm very committed to being a part of this. And I'm such a big believer in travel. Like I can't stress to you guys how game-changing travel is and has been for me personally, because I truthfully didn't start traveling until 2016. And by that time, I'm well past 40 years of age, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want young people to have to wait that long. And so I just feel like this is phenomenal. And I particularly feel like it's phenomenal for Black and brown kids, because like I said, a lot of times they don't get outside of their own community. And so the opportunity to have to go through the process of getting their own passport and all that, and, being able to travel and realizing that, hey, yeah, I'm getting the passport to go to fill in the blank, Costa Rica, Panama, wherever, but I can use this passport for the rest of my life. The most powerful passport in the world is the blue passport, the United States passport. So they don't even realize how powerful that is. Like, all it takes is going to these other countries and seeing how people, I will share a quick story with you guys. I'm a 55-year-old African American. Mm-hmm. The very first time I was ever called an American was outside of the United States of America. Let that sink in. I was in Kuwait being processed. Mm-hmm. And they had people from all different nationalities that were in that line. White, Black, Arab, the whole nine, right? And so we all were being processed because we were working in Kuwait at that point. When they came to me, I showed him my passport. He said, you're American. And he was asking it like it was a question. And I was like, yeah, I'm American. Like, that was the first time I had ever been called an American without the backstory. You know what I'm saying? The African put on it, And so even that, just the fact that and look, America has its set of issues, but I will tell you, when you travel, you have such a greater appreciation for this country called America, because there's so many things that we have that a lot of other countries don't have. And you don't even realize that until you actually do travel. So again, like I said, there's so many layers to this when you travel that I think young people if they're exposed to this in their teens like this, it just, like you said, Samantha, they don't come back the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fill in the bank, Laura, when she goes or Lori, when she goes to Costa Rica, she doesn't come back as the same Lori that left.
Mm-mm.
Right. And so Jamal, when he goes to Costa Rica, he doesn't come back as the same Jamal that left. Like it's impossible. Right. Because again, it can't go back.
Yep.
When you know better, you got to do better. And so again, like I said, I'm very committed to this. And you guys, if you guys are expanding, then put Seattle on y'all list. Because like I said, there's deep pockets here, and I know people. I'll put it like that. We're gonna make this happen.
Do it.
Excited about that opportunity. Thank you again for having us on your show and just seeing what it's already leading to more conversations. I can already tell.
Absolutely.
Great.
All right, my guys. Well, I really appreciate you guys. And like I said, I appreciate y'all coming on so late at night. I know it's 10:53 in Atlanta and it's 9:53 in St. Louis and it's only 7:53 here. So I'm gonna still go get my workout and all that good stuff. So anyway, thank you so much, guys. And I definitely wish you all the best. But this is not goodbye. This is just see you later. How about that?
That's right.
I like it.
Check your mail soon.
All right. Thank you so much.